So, for a point of inspiration that you can use to make me re-roll something, who would like to give the recap? Wait patiently for Dan to load his notes.
Oh
Red
no,
went
they're loaded. That's me being polite. Giving everyone else a chance.
extra politeness this week.
Sure. Um. Da-da. What happened here?
There was a vampire
So
called Strahd and we killed him.
yeah, and then we went home. Um. So there is the conversation about the blacksmith, and we find out that Minor should hopefully be able to get it started with Red's magical assistance. Um. But everyone is pretty near dead, so probably going to be done the next morning. They find that the silverware and the cult books and the jewels and all those things have aged and tarnished a little bit. But the books are like unreadable now, I think. They seem to have aged rapidly, having vanquished the house. Uh, Red, however, wishes to go and try and sell whatever he can manage to sell, but people do not want to go alone, so the buddy system is put in place again, and Bren goes with, but Red is going to do sneaky magic things, so wants him to stay outside, and then pretends to be Danok. Um, through magical befuddlement and stuff, he manages to get the vastly unreasonable prices slightly more reasonable and sells off a few of the minor items for a little bit of cash. While Bran whips into some sort of rotten wooden pillar, something out in the street, and has gathered a small audience that he notes. And there was Fred saying, "Well, I have your attention to myself for a moment," and then Bran going, "Uh huh." Bran and Red basically talk about their commitment to the cause and survival, and Red says that Bran people look to him for leadership and stuff, but he's mostly focused on survival and trying to break the cycle of misery in this place. Minor takes the Burgermeister's bed, and after Dev and Reese get thoroughly drunk on various wines, they join him in that bed uh, with Medamain's help. Medamain prays for a bit about forgiveness, and then goes to the liquor cabinet himself for grain whiskey. Bran and Red return. There is some fortifications. There is some augurying. There is some talking about the travel to Vallaki, but possibly going by the Vistani's camp. The adult children are going to have to be disguised because they don't trust them because they work for Strahd. Also, we get told there's wolves, dire wolves, and werewolves and hungry bats in the woods. A map is produced and a few key areas, so such as Kresk and the bone grinder mill and such are mentioned. Um,
It was just a windmill. I don't know why you're calling it the bone grinder.
you called it the old bone grinder
Oh, did I?
when you presented it.
I
Yes.
didn't remember that, but okay.
The person who's paying a lot of attention to the windmill, yes, you did.
Yeah, I think Meadowmain asked about windmill, and Ismark was like, "Oh, you mean old bone grinder up in the hill, kind of thing."
Oh, oops.
Um,
Spoilers.
uh,
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
it takes about 15 hours to Vallaki, but we have to go about 8 hours a day because it's going to be real slow going through tough terrain, I think. Ismark really doesn't like Strahd being mentioned in his presence. Augury basically is like everything is dangerous. I think all of his dice went blank for the first time ever. Is not a good sign. More whiskey drinking. Some watch taking. There was some talking to Irina as well about the nature of vampires and their ability to befuddle people. Bran whittled his little angelic Reese figurine and put it for him to wake up to. There is heart-to-heart talking about faith and religion between Bran and Meadowmane. There is like the midnight procession of ghosts marching through the street and up to the castle and then falling to their deaths or something, disappearing into the castle to replay their fate. It's quite a lot of different people as well, like warriors and woodsmen and women and dwarves and all sorts of people gathered, and it didn't seem to help. Morning comes, forging happens. There are now 2 silver whips and 34 silver arrows, and a body is buried, and there is symbolism about the burying of bodies and the relighting of the forge, etc. Reese also wakes up to see his figurine, and then they are ready to leave. That's it, I think.
Yes, it helps if I unmute. So, as you guys have gathered yourselves outside of the ruins of the forage, mine are packing up like his new glory box for smelting while on the road and all that other things. You make your way through the village of Barovia, through like the empty streets. Every once in a while you hear like the faint creaking of houses and you imagined moans of possibly undead zombies trapped inside some of the houses. As you guys are making your way through, if I could please get a perception check as your procession proceeds.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh
For
boy.
everyone?
Yes.
Exciting times.
9.
9 also.
Redmond is flirting remorselessly with Irina. He's not paying attention.
I got a massive
23.
13. Okay, there we go.
Oh, was that Meadowmane?
Let me double check. I think
Did
yeah,
I
but-
say 23? I meant just 3.
yeah, 23. 18 plus 5, 23.
Nice. Minar?
17.
All right. As you guys are proceeding, Eminem, Minar, and Meadowmane, you notice down the alleyway towards that's kind of like off the path that you guys are going. You see an old woman that is kind of traveling from door to door with a wagon full of some sort of goods, and you kind of like just see her kind of going up to a door and knocking and trying to talk to the occupants inside. It's like you're kind of traveling slowly, and you can kind of see her like stepping away from one door, going up to the next, and knocking on one, and like hear her like kind of conversation starts down the way, but you guys are too far off to hear what's going on. But you just see like someone who's like doing some door-to-door peddling down of one of the out different streets that you guys are on.
Are the doors opening for her when she knocks on them?
If you stop to look, yeah, you do see someone open a door, and a drab-looking Barovian kind of like opens the door, and you guys are too far to hear like the conversation, but the old crone kind of like holds up a hand, and you can't see what she's holding in her hand, but you kind of see that she's like doing that marvelous wares thing from like far away, and you kind of see like there's an expression of fear in like one of like the faces of like the people at the door, but like the other one like looks like really interested and kind of like you can kind of see like holding up a finger and then like disappearing inside, and kind of disgruntled spouse watching as the other returns with a coin, and like goods are exchanged, and like the woman like packs up her stuff and like toddles off down the street.
Oh no. I'm so torn about what I'm gonna do.
We want to talk to her, obviously. Come on.
Yep. Ismark's with us, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give Ismark a nudge on the ribs. Ismark, old chum, who is that?
He kind of like stops to squint down the alleyway. And was like, "Oh, that's one of the old women that come. Some sort of baker. She comes from the bone grinder. Sells dream pastries. Supposedly, best thing you'll ever eat, but it's expensive, and I can't be bothered."
The bone grinder, that's that windmill up the top there, eh?
Oh, I.
Does everybody now hear this conversation? Is this like an obvious thing?
Yeah, I don't think they're keeping.
Oh
it.
yeah, I wasn't intending to.
Yeah, apart from Red Omni's
I have a
accent.
relation to the people that own that house, and he points to like the death house because I've forgotten the name of the people.
Oh, the.
Because they had windmill iconography everywhere. Is what I'm kind of getting at.
Oh yeah, you mean the Oh dang, I'm trying to remember their name.
Aye, sorry. Thrush is in my head, but I don't think it's that.
Oh, you mean the old Thornbolt is the name of the boy. Oh, the Durst place. Yeah,
There you go.
It used to belong to them, yeah.
And they sell dream pastries.
Aye. Supposed.
Are they just sweet treats there, eh? Or do they do something?
Well, I've never tried them, but you can go talk to her if you like.
You mind if I ask you, Ismark, why they call that windmill a bone grinder? Is that literal or more metaphorical, as it were?
I mean, I would hope that it's metaphorical.
One would hope.
They're grinding their bones because they're working so hard for the people there, eh?
Right. There's that trademark optimism that I'm like,
Metaman heads off to speak to the woman.
I'll go along.
The rest of you go, or are you gonna like stand at the base of the street and
I'll sort of like slowly begin wandering closer, like in case help is needed, but not. I got a hangover like a motherfucker, I bet. So I'm sort of just hoping that I can kind of just do nothing.
Lean up against the wall and not have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you guys kind of make your way towards the lady, she's a bit further down the street from you, and you kind of see her doing like the same spiel. Every single time she like knocks on, she's not knocking on every door. You've noticed as you're walking down the street, like it kind of seems to be that she knows where like the actual occupants are, and she like walks up to another one and peddles her wares, offering customers treats. Some turn her away. Some people don't answer the door at all. And there's one where like as soon as like as you guys are approaching, you can kind of close enough to kind of hear a little bit, but like as soon as like her gnarled fingers kind of like hit the wood, like the door swings open, and like the person looks like so relieved to see her and is all like, "Oh, you're here again. Oh, that's great." And Then you hear like a rushed conversation between like her and the and this bedraggled dude who's kind of his skin is sallow and kind of sunken in, and he's kind of got like this thin, like shaky look to him, and you kind of hear her say like, "Well, the price is different now. I'll take what we discussed last time." And you kind of see like the guy kind of do like a little twitch, and he says like, "Oh, all right," and pushes a small young boy towards the woman, and she picks up the boy by like the scruff, and he begins crying and like shoves him into a sack and then onto her cart, and hands hands the man like a tray of pastries. Who he like immediately like shuts the door, and the woman starts to walk away.
I'm going to immediately put a hand on Meadowmaid and say, take it easy. We're not going to let her eat them. But let's
Just
not
insert that "here I go killing again" meme from.
So anyway, I start blasting.
Brent just looks over to Reese and does that shame with the reloading from
Yeah. Not fun.
Buzz
Oh, yeah.
with his whips or something.
I'm going to cast guidance on myself
Sure.
and say, pardon me, madam. Lovely morning. Hope it finds you well.
She kind of turns and sees you all, and she takes in your group and kind of like you can see like a look of fear come across her face, and she kind of like is like, "Oh, I'm just going about my business. No need to bother an old woman," and begins like pushing her cart like further away from you guys, like trying to.
I was going to say, Madam is going to stand directly in front of her. And she's trying to walk away.
We were interested in your wares. Tell me, what are you selling?
Oh, I'm selling dream pastries, dearie.
Dream pastries. And what pray tell is in a dream pastry?
Escape from the despair of everyday Barovian life. It's an escape, you see. Would you like to try? And she like holds one up, and
What it's for.
I would like to know the ingredients, love.
oh, love and pastry.
Are these pastries made from what's in your sack?
I don't know what you're talking about, dear.
I mean, do I need to roll an insight check?
I mean, no, you saw her put stuff of a young boy in the back.
You hear the poor kid mumbling and crying inside the sack?
No.
No. Oh, I don't like that.
Oh no.
Well,
This
don't you,
grandma's bitch gonna get stabbed.
Can we trade, Reese?
Oh, going for.
I think for your safety, it might be best if you turn that sack over to me.
She kind of gives you like a narrow look,
Yep.
and
Can I try to like intimidate her or persuade her?
sure.
Can I help with the intimidation because I'm standing immediately in front of her and I'm 7 foot tall?
Um,
And you can't.
I will let you roll intimidation to see if you can give him advantage.
Okay.
I want to see how. I want to see how.
Intimidate the DM.
Yeah, I have to see how
Oh,
meta.
that's not the goodness.
Yeah.
Can I give him my inspiration?
Yes, you can.
You can have
I
my
mean,
inspiration.
he has his own inspiration if he wants
Wait,
to.
wait,
use
wait.
it.
I don't. I used all trying to figure out who Gear was.
Just give me the inspiration.
No, yeah. I'm just trying to see how intimidating Meadowmane, the happy-go-lucky, like, green Smurf, would be.
I said
to
what I
this
said.
lady.
I got a 10.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
fuck
could
Liam.
just have a regular roll, Dylan.
All right.
Son of a bitch.
Alright, bud. I
I did not intimidate the DM.
Well, I rolled a 23.
Let me tell you, if I had a child in a sack and some 7 foot tall green dude stood in front of me, I would be pretty shitting myself.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I
had
mean-
a child in a sack, I think I would have more questions than, what's
Yeah,
gonna
I
happen.
think if you
Okay,
put
fair
children
point.
in sacks,
Valid
you don't
point.
really care about 7 foot tall green men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Fair point.
more if Meadowmane knows how to make an intimidating face, or if he's like
Sure.
doing like that awkward like Shrek smile.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly the face he's doing. That's perfect.
It's all like, he's trying to growl, but it's like, looks stern and mean, but he's like, can't help but smile because he's Meadowmane. So it just looks awkward and weird. But yeah, she kind of gives Redwin like this kind of begrudging sigh and like bends like with a great show of like you guys saw her like deftly put this like 7-year-old boy inside the sack and like deposit him away with like no effort at all, but now all of a sudden she's just like Agra from like Dark Crystal acting like it's like a big effort to bend down and get him out from under the cart and kind of unties the sack and releases the boy and just says, "Go along back home."
Now, can I get an insight check to see if I think she's human?
You can
Perception Arcana?
you can certainly try. Make me an intelligence check.
Okay. 18 on the die plus 4 is a 22.
You might catch like whenever she's like like releasing the boy or whatever that it seems like her fingers don't quite touch the sack in a way that makes you might think that this form might be an illusion.
Right.
Like her hands should be longer than they actually are.
Right. But she's clearly afraid of us.
Mm.
But not Meadowmane.
Not so much afraid, but just she kind of looks
Wary.
She looks I'm trying to think of the word for it. Annoyed.
Perturbed.
Okay.
Who owns that bone grinder?
What bone grinder, dearie?
Who owns the windmill?
Oh, it's been empty a long time.
I was told that that's where you make the dream pastries there, eh?
Oh, I suppose, yes.
You're a terrible liar, you know that?
Am I?
I mean, we're not concerned about the fact that she's going to be back here tomorrow picking that kid up again, right?
Have you walked over now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we were in hearing distance.
Yeah.
We just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought we were a ways away.
When Reese said he advanced into like
Yeah.
area where that like he could support people if there's trouble, etc. We're not just standing there watching you
Well, I don't
go
know.
for this. I
The
guess.
situation was not updated. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Uh,
And at Devon's comment, she kind of glances at Devon and narrows her eyes and kind of throws up her hands and says, all right, I can see that you all haven't been here long enough to really... Fine. You let me leave, and I will tell you... I know things. You let me leave. You won't see me again. And I'll tell you something about Barovia that you might find helpful.
inside check.
Yeah, go for it. Anybody who wants to.
Oh, I rolled a 9.
Can I do a long distance one? No, never mind. Fuck it.
I mean, she's
13.
she's trading children. I already
That's a
don't
good
care
point.
what she said.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I
we don't care.
retroactively removed my insight check. Let the record show I did not make an insight check.
You've been surviving this interaction, but Redwin is still curious about what she's talking about. You can get it.
Well, yeah, it's a very. I feel like it's a very Redwin thing to be like, oh, knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, like
Oh, person trading a child. Let's talk to her.
We're still
that's more Bran.
I've already secured the child's safety. If we can
Yeah.
get information out of her
Sure,
before
but-
you slice her to ribbons, great.
You're too logical for
Yeah.
this group. This group is ready
You
to like,
You saw
Where
that
did you
child.
go?
You don't know how many more in that cart right now, and how many like
Oh,
there's
turn
gonna
out your
be there
pockets.
tomorrow. That's
turn out your pockets. We want all the children.
I don't think she's a person, so charm person's not going to do the trick.
You'd also have to get it past her perception check, dearie.
I know. Right, I tell you what. One practicer of the dark arts to another. You show me where you do your thing. You tell me what it is you think we want to know. And maybe we leave you to your business.
Did he just say he was a practicer of the dark arts?
He did indeed.
He just said it. He really just said it.
Yeah, we should keep an eye on that.
Isn't he casting things out of a skull or whatever we picked up from?
It's an orb.
It was an orb that summoned shadows that almost killed us.
It's an orb with 2 eye holes and a bunch of teeth at the bottom.
I think we need to have a team meeting when we get a chance.
I think you might be right.
Can I roll a persuasion check or something?
What did you say? Actually, I got distracted.
Oh, that's okay. No, just like I was trying to see if I could get her to kind of lead us to where she does her business and tell us what she thinks we want to know, and then maybe we'll leave her alone.
This is like the deal is I will tell you things that will help you in your fight against Strahd, she says, kind of like glancing over at Arena and Ismark, and you let me go.
Can I see how many more sacks she has in that wagon?
Yeah, sure. Give me a perception check.
Uh-oh. That is a... Oh, I hate math. That is a 13? 13. 8 and 5. 13, yeah.
You don't really see anything else in the cart.
So there is the cart is open and he doesn't see anything in it?
Yeah. It's basically kind of like a food vendor cart where like there's a big old tray of pastries on like the top, and then like it's got like the little hollow area where she had stuffed the sack before, but
I can't get a good vantage point on seeing into that undercarriage.
she made a big show of getting the boy out before, so I would say that you guys could have clearly seen there wasn't anything else in there.
Okay, cool.
I'll just kind of look over my shoulder to like the rest of the group and just kind of shrug.
I'll even let you keep my pastries, she says, pointing at the cart.
Well, I tried to help you there. I'm just gonna walk away and light a cigarette.
I'm gonna remain standing in front of her, sort of waiting for a Brannock or someone else to actually like take the lead.
As I get closer, I'm saying, she's not human. She's making pastries out of babies, so I guess the thing.
I should have laughed.
I don't need my magic to tell me that.
Now, before we judge, has anyone actually tried one of these pastries? Just saying.
Well, we can kill her, then take the pastries.
We're not eating baby pastries.
You got no sarcasm, do you?
Yes, sarcasm.
People are far too serious.
Oh, what?
While you all are discussing these things, you, the old woman kind of waves her hands in front of her face and disappears from view. You don't have a counterspell. But disappears
I
from
could have
view.
been casting mirror image this whole time and probably not dying. Son of a bitch.
So she gets from view,
Isn't that second level spell?
but unless she's
Mirror image?
using her action to hide, we still know where she is, mechanically speaking.
Mechanically speaking, sure.
Can I whip? As soon as I see that happening, can I whip at the spot where she is to see if I can hit anything? Because this was, I was trying to be a back seat, but he's not letting some baby trading monster get away. So he's gonna get fucking furious.
Yeah, you guys
I'll be
do it.
dashing forward.
You guys do what you want to do.
I'm gonna roll a firebolt with disadvantage.
Sure.
I would
I'm
like
gonna
to
rush
primal
forward and smash her
savagery.
cart.
Sorry, you go, Liam.
Oh, I was saying I'm just gonna rush forward and start smashing up her cart.
What
With my mace.
Yeah.
Does a 14 hit?
No.
Can I primal savagery?
Sure, disadvantage.
Oh, that's a good roll. That's a fine roll. 16.
You find nothing.
Son of a bitch.
With disadvantage, I actually rolled 2 13s, so that's 2 19s. But I'm guessing she's not there anymore.
Your your friends kind of like the firebolt goes off, and Reese comes up with his claws, and you feel like had she still been in the vicinity, you would have hit her, but your whips find nothing.
He's going to lash out a few more times, just like into errant air, like around where it is, probably taking some steps forward, and then he's going to kick at part of the smashed cart. Just go, all your fucking words.
We saved the boy, didn't we?
And like Dev said, what about the boy tomorrow? What about every boy that has been before now?
So do you want to take a trip to the windmill or not?
We have
Is
to
that-
take a trip to the windmill.
We're taking a trip to the windmill.
If
But
you
now
had-
they know.
While she still had the boy in a sack, we'd be down one boy.
I mean, we weren't hitting the sack.
No, but she teleported away with the boy in the sack. Do you people not think? Let's go to the fucking windmill.
Meadowman gives a quick prayer into the not the ashes of the cart. What would we call? Into the
Splinters.
smashed remains of the cart. There you go. Into the splinters of the carts and the crumbs of the pastry, for all of the innocent souls who lost their lives to make these things.
I'm gonna go and.
I mean, you guys are making some
the-
huge assumptions about what the boy was for, but okay.
Is the
I think we're
boy?
making fair
Is
assumptions.
the boy still in the sack?
No, he ran away.
No, he's away.
Okay. I hope he doesn't go back to.
I was gonna say, did we see where he ran?
He ran back home.
Are there still pastries?
There are some,
Or-
yes. There are a few that aren't completely smashed.
I'm going to put some in the bag of holding.
Okay. You have.
I'm gonna. Can I roll? See if Meadowman sees that, considering he's right next to the pastries, praying for these innocent boys who died. Theoretically speaking.
Yeah, you managed to get about half a dozen pastries
What?
that aren't
Okay.
that aren't completely smashed. Sure, Meadowman, go ahead and roll a perception.
He's not hiding.
I know. He's not. He's not. He's not hiding it, right?
18.
No, he's not hiding. Yeah, you see him.
Boom.
Clear it up.
I'm
Pick
gonna
him up.
smack all of those pastries out of his fucking hand.
Oh, straight into the bag of holding.
Oh. I'm gonna take a
Alley-oop.
fucking swing. I'm gonna take a swing.
Oh,
Do it.
go for it, yeah.
What's my hit? Ooh.
You swinging with your mace, or you just swinging with your hands?
I'm swinging with the mace, yeah.
Oh boy.
Because that's what I was using to smash the cart up. I
Okay.
don't know should I clarify that? Do you want me to just make it with the hand? Because I didn't say I was using the mace to smash the cart up.
I mean, I kind of assumed. I was just wondering if you were swinging at your companion with your weapon or your hands.
Oh, I'm swinging at him with my mace, yeah. That is a 23 to hit.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure
fucking
that
up, man.
hits.
Wait, are you swinging at me?
Yes, because several times you've like desecrated corpses or like
I
missed
did-
the moment kind of thing, and just
I haven't desecrated a single corpse.
Yet.
right. Well,
I
people are
refute that.
emotionally struggling at the minute, like about missing children and things,
Sure.
and you are helping yourself to pastries of a witch who presumably made them out of kids, is the going theory.
Helping myself implies I'm eating them. There's obviously another reason for me picking them up. But yes, that does hit.
So, but this isn't the first time that he's tried to stop you from doing things, and you took someone's ashes or something, didn't you? Or
Yeah,
like
he-
pieces
he
of
probably
bone
have.
from people.
That was what Menaman was wanting forgiveness for. Because he's like, okay, you know, we all have different things. Because originally I was going to dump the tinderbox out. But I'm like, okay, no, let's calm down, let's try and forgive. And now I'm like, nah, fuck you. 7. Oh, nope, 7 plus 2 for 9.
Yeah.
Redwind's gonna call. Meadowman, Jesus Christ! Oh, actually, no, he doesn't say that. Gods above.
Morning, Lord.
Yeah, there you go.
You release those boys or I'll hit you again, there, eh?
You don't know what's in those. and understanding what's in them
You
might
said
help us
yourself
out.
that they were making.
Your
They start
ignorance
growling.
is not an excuse for violence, all right? It's in his nature to understand things as it's in mine. So take it easy.
Right, and the next time we see someone trading children, are you going to let me just hit them before they get away?
Again, I think that if you had attacked her, she would have pulled it away with the boy in the bag.
Well, you got him out, and then we carried on talking, and then she got away.
She's not gotten away yet. Are we going, or are we going to pick each other apart in the middle of the road?
That's if she ain't gone back and disappeared by the time we get there. It's going to be hours.
Days, more like, Ismark says.
To the bone grinder, I thought it was halfway.
It's about halfway to Valaki.
Right.
It'll be tomorrow at the earliest, especially if you all wanted to stop by the Vistanis.
Well, it seems
afford
for the
to
moment at least
now?
there's something more pressing. Sorry, go ahead.
And can we afford to now?
I don't think so.
I don't think we should waste any more time standing here.
Agreed.
I'm fine, by the way.
I'm so glad to hear it.
Alright,
Are
well,
corner or are we not?
I'm gonna turn to kind of start heading back over in the direction we were going. Probably like a sort of high school shoulder check on Minara as I go.
Yeah, knowing reset, you probably damaged yourself.
Betterman follows.
Trips on a rock.
Shooting his mace.
alright, well. You guys get back on the road, so to speak. And now you have changed your destination.
Seems that way.
Alright. The technically the bone grinder would be the Vistani camp would be on the way to the bone grinder, so you could stop by there should you wish, but whether or not you decide to stay
I
is
mean,
another
I think,
thing. Because
I think the idea would be to go and then pass by the Vistani camp and then
yes, because
get there as fast as possible.
this is where you are right now, and according to the map, the bone grinder is. Where is it?
Could just as people are leaving, we've got to go back past the house that sold the kid, right?
If you want to, yeah.
Sure. He's gonna knock hard.
This is where the bone grinder is, just for your edification.
Yeah, so here.
And then,
Oh, so it's on the way to Balaki.
yeah, here's the encampment. There's the bone grinder. There's Valaki.
Mhm.
Right. So you go back and you knock on the door.
Mm-hmm.
You get no answer.
Door's coming down.
Sure. Give me a strength check. Or athletics check.
Or am I just size?
14.
I believe that's good enough. Yeah, so like the door kind of like cracks off its hinges, and you step inside. Inside the house is really, it's small and like barren and just smells like most of the Barovian village smells. You see the boy is kind of curled up in like near the cold fireplace and near the hearth and just kind of like looking up at you with like wide eyes, and his father is passed out on this kind of threadbare cot in one corner, half-eaten pastry in one hand.
Is that like a hearth for fireplace or a fire pit or anything?
Hearth, yeah.
He'll take all of those pastries, presumably scattered on the floor of this druggie's dwelling, throw them all into the hearth, and then like light a torch and throw it in.
I gas produce flame.
Or you can do that if you're with me. He just
Yeah,
did this. He's not expecting anyone.
Yeah, yeah. Reese will be with you for sure.
Is he like if I like grab the guy by like the neck or the scruff or whatever? Like, is he actually completely out of it?
You can certainly try.
I will do that then. I will try and pick him up off the sofa or whatever.
Let's see. Do. Why don't they have all of this stuff together? Yeah, so you pick the man up and you give him like a good shake. And his head kind of like lolls dangerously. It's just kind of like, completely out of it, unresponsive. And then kind of like eyes open, and just not really responding to you, despite like the fact that you're giving him whiplash.
You fucking filth. You do not know what you have. And he's just gonna throw him, like he's picked him up, like by the throat or something, like holding above his head, or like at head height or something, and he just casts him onto the floor.
Can we take the boy to the temple?
I was thinking the same thing.
Leave him his care.
The priest needs a son, and this kid needs a father. He's gonna turn to the kid. How old is the kid?
Like 7.
Right. You got anything? You own anything?
Got a few things. He says, kind of.
You met? Was it Donovan?
Donovich.
Donovich. Have you met the priest?
He shakes his head.
You're like the priest. Do you want to get a few things? We're gonna go for a walk.
And the kid kind of like quickly follows your orders.
He's gonna help him.
Yeah.
Like a parent helping a little child. Help him pack in whatever he has to pack in.
Yeah, you kind of see like every once in a while he kind of gives like his father kind of like this like wide-eyed look and is just kind of and then like looks back at you and it's like kid is definitely afraid, but there's like still kind of like a bit of like knows that he's better off not here.
Sure.
And you help him pack up and get his things together, and it's fairly simple to say. Like you guys just cut up through the village and get the boy to Donovich.
He's gonna say to Donovich, basically roughly where that house was or something, say, that man sold his child for some pastry. He would also ask the kid's name coming up here and stuff, and be incredibly nice kid gloves with the kid. And like when he says that, does Donovich have any reaction? Like he knows this is happening?
He kind of has a you kind of see like a spark of recognition there, but he gets kind of angry looking and is just kind of like, he's like, thought they were done or thought they were gone, and mutters to himself and kind of shakes his head. Kid's name, by the way, is Emmerich. And like you kind of get like the impression from Donovich that this is like it's like a known thing. It is like was a known thing, but has kind of faded into like boogeyman type status. But like now it's back and just
he's angry. He knows about it, but he's angry about it, and I don't expect him to be able to do anything about it because that person obviously can disappear. So as long as that was the reaction I was looking for, either innocence or anger. And he's gonna say, "You need to keep Emmerich, and you need to keep every member of like your flock alive until we get back, or at least out of their hands. We'll see what we can do about it."
And he nods and says, "If I don't know if it will help against what's in the mill, but and he kind of holds up a hand and like disappears into one of like his side offices, and when he comes back out, he presses into your hands two glass vials filled with what you assume to be holy water.
He's gonna take them and then like pass them off to Medamain or whoever else, someone else who's there, and he's gonna like basically take Donovan both hands, both shoulders, and just go, "For living in this hellhole, you are a strong man to have still kept some conviction. I'm gonna need that strength a little longer, and so will he." And he'll like, basically gently push Emmerich forward or something, and I will have taken anything that wasn't like sweet, not the sweet pastries, obviously, but like if there was some food or something, like from that guy's house or something, or a little bit of gold or money, and basically just give him something to survive with.
And Ismark will do the same. Hand the priest a couple of gold and silver and stuff.
Right. God be with you, Donovich.
May the morning Lord guide you all.
I think Redwin and Minar might be like outside. I think Redwin would just turn to Minar and kind of like looking at his head to see the wound and be like, "I think by the end of this, I'll be quite done with religious
Religious
Really?
Like
fanatics.
some of them now.
I think by the end of this, I'll be quite done with religiosity. What about you?"
That's a word.
It is weird.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. The condition of being religious.
Sure. Okay. Sorry.
I mean, the condition of rescuing a child from a person who would sell him isn't necessarily religion.
No, but smacking someone on the upside
talking
down
about
head.
smacking their
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting cracked in the head with a mace for doing exactly what your class would do is absolutely like fascist, religious, theocratic
I
behavior.
mean,
It is.
Well, it didn't see you helping
but
too
okay,
much.
but
I would say the word fascist
for
there is
doing
harsh.
what your class would do, that's like not necessarily.
That's also very meta.
Yeah, that's very meta.
Oh, no, but like that's what Redman was trying to communicate. Like
Yeah.
he's an artificer. Like he needs to understand things to be able to do the things he does.
Yeah.
Doesn't always have to
You
be
need
the bodies
to understand
of the deceased.
mind-altering drug pastries.
Similarly, I feel like it's within the cleric class to want the
Yeah,
respect,
Respect
of
for the dead?
I'm not
like, honored.
I'm not shitting on your roleplay, Liam. I'm just saying I think it's understandable that the two people who are scholarly would be pretty offended at that kind of behavior.
Okay, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to attack you at all. I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. No worries.
I'll get one back. Don't worry.
We won't have class shaming in this house.
I'll take the. You mentioned handing those holy waters to Meadowman. I'll write that down in my thing.
Okay.
Because I was also going to be outside, just waiting to go. But if those two are outside, you would not be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could be inside. The rest of us.
The cool people.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, is Reese here?
Same team.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's us against the nerds, and the nerds.
I
don't
because
know.
I love.
If this was the house party, Ridley and I would be in the kitchen. That's the coolest place. Everybody knows it.
That's where all the
Yeah,
food
and
is.
Reese would have tried a backflip earlier in the night and broken his arm, but still not
Reese is the druid that ends up on TikTok.
yeah.
Yeah, so who are the people who are hanging out in the garage smoking the entire time while everyone else is
Oh yeah.
drinking?
I mean, Redmond was also like raised by like thieves and hookers, so he's definitely like the cool kid. He just happens to hang out with the nerd as well.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's got a great grunge album career ahead of him.
Right. So, if there's anything else that you all would like to do in Barovia, the village, not the land,
Kill Strahd.
Can I find out how odd it is that the land and the village have the same name? I feel like it would be like a city that has the same name as the land.
it's no different than like New York, or
I would.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying.
Right?
Is Barovia is a small village, but it's
You don't. Know?
I assume the village was named after the land as opposed to the other way around.
yes.
You don't know that.
That's what I'm
he
assuming
just-
because
he just
I feel
told
like
you,
a
but now
village.
you know that.
You wouldn't name a land after a village, would you?
No, nobody has asked for a
Oh.
Barovian history lesson.
Nor do I want one.
yeah.
This place
You
fucking
sound
sucks.
like you're dangerously close to joining Team Nerd, and we're not about that over here on Team Sexy Men. And
Meadowman's also there.
Devin.
Because
Sexy man and Devin.
Anyway,
all right, so you guys,
And Meadowman, actually. Sorry.
you guys get
really.
on your way. Alrighty.
While we're walking, as we're like at the edge of the village, I think I'd like to talk to Ismark.
Sure.
So, Ismark, you considered that perhaps leaving this town and leaving the safety of your home is exactly what Strahd wants?
Well, the thing is that my sister wasn't safe in our home, so not like had much choice.
I don't know if we've fully discussed the conditions for our arrival here in your lovely country. We, as I explained, got a note from who we thought was your dad, but I think we can safely assume it's turned out to be the Devil's Strahd. Seems that bringing us here, bringing you across the country, his country, might be exactly what we're here for.
Kind of furrows his brows and is just kind of like, well, he wouldn't have to send my sister cross country to get at her because, well, our home wasn't safe. There was, he was invited in. There was no amount of barricades that would protect her at that point.
He'd already been invited in, so he could come whenever he wanted, you're saying.
He nods.
Well then, there must be some other reason for drawing us out. Do you think that, well, I suppose you don't. And Reverend will let it go.
I suppose I think what? Trying to say I can't think.
Oh, I'm sure you can, my friend. But I suppose examining the possibilities endlessly may be somewhat useless at the end of the day. We'll just have to hope luck is on our side, yeah?
Kind of shrugs his shoulders and nods a bit, like he slightly confused by what you're saying, but doesn't want to look foolish, so he keeps his mouth shut.
The two of them, they don't really look alike, right?
You can
Yeah, we determined that the dude Ismark looked like his dad, and we assumed that
Yeah.
Irina looked like her mother. That's what we assumed.
Right. Do I think that's correct?
Having not seen any pictures of their mother, you wouldn't be able to like make that assumption 100%. But you could certainly ask.
So I take it Irina favors her mother.
And he kind of like glances in your direction and then glances at Arena just because, like, topic of conversation, and says, afraid I wouldn't rightly know.
What do you say? I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
I'm afraid I wouldn't rightly know.
Is that so? Why's that?
She's adopted.
I see. Adopted from where? Or from whom?
Wasn't from a where. She was... Father found her during a hunt in the woods, and she was a little girl. Took her in.
Seems to me that if an immortal, powerful vampire, master of a great land, goes out of his way to bring adventuring crew to his home, to bring one girl out in the open, if indeed that's what's happening.
That would be your assumption, I think.
It is.
See, the problem with that is that you're not the first strangers or adventurers that come through here.
He did try to bring us to you directly, though. The note he gave us told us to seek out your father, specifically to protect Irina.
Well, I'll admit that's a new one. See, there's some adventurers that come say that the Vistani brought them. Some adventurers that come that say that they were out hunting in the woods and mist came in and crawled in and brought them here.
Don't the Vistani in the mist serve Strahd?
That is the idea, yeah. The Vistani can come and go as they please. So, the rumour goes.
Well, all this to say, seems your sister might be more important than just being your sister. Yeah? Maybe she's more than just a pretty face. Do you have any indication that that might be true?
Not that I've heard.
All right. Worth an inquiry.
Yeah, you kind of see, like, he's kind of mulling that over a little bit. I mean, it's not the first time he's gone after someone in the village. It's usually, the more colourful folks, people who aren't completely broken. It's definitely my sister. But, he kind of trails off a bit. He says, it's happened before. I couldn't rightly say if it happened, like, the same way.
Your sister's very lovely, but what makes her special?
If I knew that. we wouldn't be here.
Oh, you say he takes the colourful folks. You say she's certainly that. Why do you say that?
She's not a fucking corpse.
Well,
He's just shouting, like, saying that over his shoulder kind of thing.
Remen ignores him.
Ismark kind of has like this, uh, uh, like he wants to laugh, but it's not funny, type of thing. But
No, it's very black humor.
yeah, like he wants to laugh, but it's like it's not funny, but he wants to laugh. But so he kind of like makes like this sardonic kind of smile, and he's like, some people, from the moment they're born till like the moment they die, it's like they just there. Like you just, some people just are defeated without ever being defeated. And then there's, you know,
She's got spirit.
yeah,
A light that draws dark things, maybe.
that's what I figure.
I'll not trouble you on it longer than need be. Not much we can do with that information right now. The path is the path and we must walk it.
For what it's worth, I don't think that, or rather, I hope that you weren't here to help take my sister across country, because if that's true, then I highly doubt our chances on making it to Valaki unharmed.
That was always a risk, my friend.
No, I mean that we'll crest some hill and he'll be sitting there, you know, on his horse. His nightmare. And he shivers.
I think your Lord Strahd is a clever man, if he can be called a man.
He's the devil. Just call him for
Aye.
what he is.
A clever devil, then.
Some curse. It's been brought on Barovia.
Sure. We must not be too reductive of our enemies. Things we don't understand. It blinds us. There's a game at foot, and it's his game. And so far, we've played it to his rules.
Alright, well. Hopefully y'all are clever folk. And you don't go mad like the last one.
At least a couple of us. I would let the conversation go.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys travel out, and you're back on like that wooded trail through this Svalich woods, and quickly make your way south, and you come within spotting distance of like this river, and the river flows as clear as blue winter sky through the valley. It's kind of like this, in regards to like the this kind of dreary feel to like the woods and the land, like, you know, seeing like this river flowing clear. It's kind of it's nice to see. It's a pretty sight, even if, like, you know, the fog and everything else is kind of depressing. There's you cross like the arching stone bridge that span the river at 2 points, or at 1 point, and you continue on your way. Dun, 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 dun. And yeah, you're gonna have a couple of hours here in the woods. So if I could get a marching order from you all, pretty please.
Firmly in the middle.
Right next to Bran, wherever Bran is.
Wherever you can be downwind of his manly musk.
Indeed.
Minar's usually at the back, right?
I think so, yeah.
In which case, Meadowmane will be right at the front.
I think Devin would take up the rear, not wanting the others at their back.
Sure. Minar, where are you at? Nearish the middle?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry. I pulled my microphone cable out and everything went wonky. Yeah, somewhere near the back. As Meadowman says.
Miss Meadowmane says, what? Oh, always
I
here.
think it was he was having Minar's usually at the back, right? Yes.
Mm.
So Meadowmane would be at the front, away from
So
him.
if Meadowman has a reach of 13 inches, Minor would be 14 inches away.
Sure.
Reasonable.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Playing whack-a-mole with my head, wasn't
Can I forage as we travel through the woods, please?
Yes, you will have about 3.5 hours as you travel through the woods until like you guys get to the crossroads near what Ismark tells you is the River Ibis. There's a crossroads at the river. Let's see, and there are an old wooden gallows that creaks in a chill wind that blows down from the high ground to the west. A frayed length of rope dances from its beam, and a well-worn road splits here, and a signpost opposite of the gallows points off in 3 directions: Barovia Village to the east, Sar Pool to the northwest, and Ravenloft Vallaki to the southwest. The northwest...
Sorry. Could I have Bexley just kind of up in the trees ahead of us a little bit?
Sure.
Starting out? Yeah.
Sure. The northwest fork slants down and disappears into the trees, while the southwest fork clings to an upward slope. Across from the gallows, a low wall, crumbling in places, partially encloses a small plot of graves shrouded in fog. And so if you all would be heading towards like the Sar Pool, because that is the one that leads up towards like the northwest, because I believe
That seems to be the shortest route, but it does go past the Vistani.
yeah, like if you want to you can avoid the those directions don't make any sense. Here I'm looking at this map.
Is it on a different orientation?
No, it's not. But
The gay-ass map.
because like the Sar Pool trail actually well, I suppose it's not an official track. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Because yeah, the Sar Pool like leads to the north, and then the other one goes down, only to come back up to the north and goes back around. But there's a trail there from the Savar Pool that kind of like reconvenes with the other at the other end of like the river, but it's not an official thing, so I guess that's why the sign says that. But that's just me.
Just for your own information, 18 on my survival check. And so I'll forage for 2 of those hours, which gets me enough to make a healing potion.
Sure.
Awesome. Did you say it's just a plot of graves? There's no like, this is a cemetery. It's just like a bunch of graves stuck in the ground.
There's across from the gallows, it's like a low wall. You don't like see like a church or anything like that. It's just kind of like a small fenced-in area where there are graves.
Can I send Bexley just to kind of peek around in there?
Sure.
As we're sort of I think deciding like which way we're gonna go, Meadowmane goes over to the gravestones and just like kneels and prays for everyone who's buried underneath.
Zombie arms.
That's why I'm not going to each individual grave, which was my first thought. I'm like, nah, let's just do the whole thing as a whole.
He's learning.
All about finding the Morning Lord and Shanti helping them find a new path in the next life. The usual stuff.
Sure.
Reese would be a bit ahead if he's foraging. I think that makes more sense than.
Yeah. I would imagine Bran has got it. He's roughly leading the pack, but he's got his eyes on Reese, probably near the
Reese is just
road's
scampering
edge.
around like a little kid, just like, oh, a mushroom.
Oh, a mushroom. Oh, a mushroom.
There
Like
could be a
yeah,
good
as you
spot
guys
to
are
find some
kind of
ingredients.
yeah, I mean, he can get some mushrooms, some grave dust, grave dirt, all sorts of fun things. Uh, but yeah, as you're kind of wandering about like this, exploring like this quasi graveyard, like none of like the stones have any kind of markings or anything on them, but you do find like a stone bench that's kind of setting in kind of like a quasi viewing area. It's you realize now that it's pointed more towards the gallows than it is towards the
Mm-hmm.
graves, so that's a bit disconcerting. But beneath it, you find like a leather wrapped bundle that's been kind of like tucked under near one of like the stone legs.
Hmm. Can I inspect it?
Sure. You open up like the bundle, and it's just a set of common clothes, sized for a human adult. They have like that drab Barovian style to them.
Now, why would someone leave clothes out in the middle of a graveyard?
When the dead get up and are naked.
There's only one though, but there's a lot of graves.
Just this one particular guy.
Oh right, yeah. One guy like completely versed in nudity.
He was buried naked.
I may be a master of undeath, but I have standards. All of my children have to be at least 80% clothed.
Suitable.
Yeah.
I don't know if Medemin would have enough knowledge to think to even ponder why someone would. He would maybe think, why did I have that? But he wouldn't be able to come to a conclusion. So he'll call over Redwin because he would probably know. Do you know why someone would leave clothes in the middle of a graveyard there, eh? Does he then give the naked dead dude this response?
I mean, to clothe a naked dead man, likely. Can I roll an Arcana check or something?
Sure. I'll take one from the monster hunters as well.
That's a 18 on the die. Actually, not on the die total, sorry.
You saying that gives me an idea. I'm not sure my Arcana check of 12 is going to back it up, but
Nor my 11.
I can say what I'm thinking, maybe. But it might take me a while to put it together. See what Dev's got. I would also like to say that I like that Dev is at the back because he doesn't trust the others, but Bran is like completely happy as long as Dev is at the back because then his back is covered, basically.
We're looking for Arcana checks.
Yeah.
That's a natural 20 for a total of 20.
Nice. Yeah, so Redwin and Devon. Werewolves don't need clothes when they change, but they might leave it somewhere for them to change back into whenever, so they're not running around as a naked human later.
Seems our monster hunters will be overjoyed to know we've likely found our werewolves.
Or at least where they stash their clothes.
We were told this wood was filled with them when he gives a
Just
nine.
one set, correct?
One set,
It's
yes.
not.
I'm
I
very
suppose
tempted.
if we wanted to hunt a werewolf, you could leave it there. Set some sort of an ambush, but not like we have time, I guess. Actually, when is the full moon?
You don't know if
We also
Barovia,
don't know.
because you haven't been outside to see the moon, and also you don't know if Barovia follows the same lunar cycle as where you came from.
Also,
Or if the
there's
werewolf
barely any
here-
light here anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't see the sky most
Yeah, you
days,
can-
I would imagine.
Barely see the sun as it is right now.
Right, I guess I don't know 100% how D&D werewolves work, whether it's a lunar cycle thing or what.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I
well,
would say Redwin hasn't done any kind of studying, but if you wanted to ask the monster hunters about the werewolves, he would say they would probably say It don't fucking matter. They're monsters.
Yep, that's exactly
Yep.
what we would say.
I mean, yeah, they are.
What do we know about werewolves and their
Because you're
relationship?
you were on your way to hunt werewolves when we came in here. So
It's-
assuming you've done your research.
Yeah. You're
They die. That's my research.
Yep. They die screaming. That's my research.
Silver makes it really painful for them.
That's research. Anyway,
Yeah, no, they're
Do they
not.
work
They're,
off lunar?
they're not. No, they're not tied to lunar
No.
cycles.
In either case, there's at least one nearby.
So
We take the clothes, and then whoever's naked in the morning, we know there's a werewolf.
Hey,
Um,
look for a naked raving lunatic.
Oh, look, it happens to be Minor. Club him.
Just naked clothes in the night.
well,
Yes, exactly.
I don't know about you all then, Ismark says, but I don't want to be around when they come searching for their knickers.
why
No, I
not?
think we best leave those where we found them and make our way.
Good idea. Better
Well,
put them
we
back
could-
with the family.
Kill it.
Tentatively.
They might smell you on them now, so have fun with that.
Yeah, maybe
Okay,
they'll
so-
find us, Ismark says. Kind of. Oh, goody.
I'll take them in the river then. Would that make you happy there?
With Red saying that, I'll just like click my fingers or like wave or something towards Reese and just like point at them, in that kind of tactical way. Just like, you should burn those.
Reese will produce flame.
All right.
Don't need a river.
Meadowman will move
Best
away
prank ever.
swiftly from the fire.
As a hundred trick, Ismark says. He burns the clothes. They smell like burnt hair and wet dog all at the same time.
Oof.
Yay.
But yeah, if there's anything else, you guys can continue on.
That would be
Let's put
best.
enough space between that and us as we can, eh?
Right. As you all are leaving the gallows and the graveyard, Devon, you hear a creaking noise behind you coming from the gallows, and you turn and you see where there was nothing before now hangs a lifeless gray body. The breeze turns the hanged figure slowly so that it can fix your dead eyes upon you, and you see a familiar face, your own, staring back at you, as eyes are like sunken and gray and scraggly, kind of dirty blonde hair blows in the wind.
Do we all see it or just Devin?
Depends on if Devon says anything.
Yeah, Devin will point it out.
Yes, the rest of you turn and
Hey, is that me hanging there?
Well, I mean, probably just like shit. Kind of.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
yeah, you guys turn and you do see a body laying or hanging there, but it looks nothing like Devon. It's just unfamiliar looking Barovian. But
Sorry.
Devon swears up and down that that's her.
She does. Could I make an Arcana check to see what might be happening there?
Sure.
As you do that, Meadowman's gonna head over. He didn't notice the body was there, so he does the same sort of prayer thing that he does for all the dead things.
28 with guidance.
Might be an illusion, but you'd have to get closer to see if it's real or not.
Brad like looks to Reese and makes like the same hand movement at the body.
Yeah.
Happens when it gets produced flamed.
Does he produce flame?
He will look to the others for a moment and then produce flame.
I was gonna say once Meadowman's like done his prayer thing, he'll be like, yeah, okay, go for it.
Yeah, the corpse looks and smells real, but as soon as the produced flame touches it, it goes up in like a puff of smoke, as though it was never there. All that's there is like the hanging, frayed ropes.
Okay.
Do I think that that there necessarily has to be a spellcaster nearby, or could it be some kind of enchantment that was?
You have no way of knowing. You can
How does a
certainly,
man-
like, look around if you want, but
I mean, yeah, I'll send Bexley like to do a circle and kind of check things out.
yeah. It's like you don't really get anything from him. He, like, goes up above, and every time, like, you dip into, like, to share his senses, you just see you all milling about.
Okay.
It's just some spoopy spoop.
There's nothing in the brush, no footprints, nothing like that around that might
You could
show
go and
that some.
go back into the graveyard and look.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take some investigation checks or survival.
That sounds like one.
Okay.
Alright. 24.
Yeah, the only footprints that you can see through here look like they belong to your own. You do, with that higher roll, you do find like the footprints of a large dog, presumably from that werewolf that you saw, or you suspect being nearby.
Well, I think I found our werewolf's prints.
How fresh are they?
How fresh are they?
They look pretty old. Like, it could be one of those things that, because it was kind of, I think I described it as rainy a few nights before, and they're kind of slightly soggy looking, but like it didn't like get like so damp that it completely washed them away. But it could just be that, like, they just keep the wolves keep caches of clothing around in several different places because, where they start a hunt might be not anywhere near where they finish up. You suspect if you have a keen eye, you might find more of these bundles stashed elsewhere in the woods.
It's the collectible.
For fuck's sake,
It's like a
Liam.
backpack in Spider-Man.
For fuck's
I am
sake.
not hunting that trophy.
I want that Xbox Live achievement.
Sorry.
I'm glad you liked it, Liam.
Right.
They're not that fresh,
No, they're not that fresh.
but they're there.
What?
I said, but they're there.
But they're there, yeah.
Well, then the sooner we're not, the better.
The achievement would be called Moiden's Bane or something.
Inside jokes.
Anyways. So which way do you all go from the crossroads? Do you plan on going up through the pool? It is a shortcut-ish. It is kind of a shortcut because you don't have to like wind through the woods a bit, but you will have to stop at some point to disguise up Ismark and Arena.
I was going to ask, did they bring packed things?
Like they
Because
have.
they knew this would
I
be an
have disguise.
eventuality.
I have a disguise kit that I can use for them.
Yeah.
It would certainly save us time if we go through the camp, but it'd take me maybe a couple of hours to make them look like not them.
It won't take that long, I don't think, but yeah.
Otherwise, we're not saving much time.
It's 3 hours to go the Sarpol route versus 8, so yes, it's a lot shorter to go up through the pool.
Right.
Madame would advocate for the shorter route.
Okay. Like you will.
I mean, I would as well, but
Yeah.
Bran would say, and what if his marks they all work for Strahd? Are we ready to make a quick escape?
We had better be.
Right.
Well, you guys get back on the road, and the road gradually disappears and is replaced by a twisted, muddy path through the trees. Deep ruts in the earth are evidence of the coming and going of wagons. A canopy of mist and branches the canopy of mist and branches suddenly gives way to black clouds boiling far above. There is a clearing here, next to a river that widens to form a small lake, several hundred feet across, and you see 5 colorful round tents, each 10 feet in diameter, are pitched outside a ring of 4 barrel-topped wagons. A much larger tent stands near the shore of the lake, its sagging form lit from within. Near this tent, 8 unbridled horses drink from the river, and the mournful strains of an accordion clash with the singing of several brightly clad figures around a bonfire. A footpath continues beyond this encampment, meandering north between the river and the forest's edge. And
Do the horses look like spooked or like scared, or are they just chilling?
no, they're just chilling. They've been tied up and they're like watering themselves at the river lake.
I'm gonna walk over to them anyway.
Okay.
Just start patting one of them.
You would have to walk by several of the tents and the wagons to get to the horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Metaman's gonna call out. We don't really have time to be stopping dairies.
But you see that there are 12 Vistani, male and female, that are standing and sitting around a fire telling stories and guzzling wine. Some are clearly intoxicated, and there's a few sober-looking ones that are resting up against a couple of the wagons. And see, as you approach, one of them kind of like looks up at Reese and just gives him a friendly wave.
Just raise a hand. Just kind of trying to, like, I know he can't stop, so I'm sort of looking to scope it out.
Yeah.
While I'm sort of
Are you
saying
still
no
like
to the horses.
going through the camp to like the horses?
Yeah.
Okay, so like the Vistani near like the campfires will kind of just be out, kind of stand, and like you have to pass by them to get to the horses, so they'll just kind of stand up and like wave a hand, and like one's all like, "Hey, welcome, my friend. You're the newcomers. Madam Maeve has been expecting you. Said you'd be visiting our humble camp. We thought you'd be here earlier. Sorry we started the party without you."
Won't be staying there, eh? Come on, Reese.
Yeah. Reese like hearing Meadowmane kind of, and then moving him along, will sort of take one last look around the camp before nodding and like following on.
You're not staying?
We've got some
Don't
business
think
at the
so.
windmill there.
Oh, you might as well stop. It's getting dark out, and there's a storm coming.
Is it in fact getting dark? And is there a storm coming?
Yeah, you guys got like because of the forging and your delay. It was probably close to like mid-afternoon before you got to leave, and it is encroaching on the evening times.
Will you give us the promise of sanctuary while we are here?
Of course, I said we were expecting you. You're a bit late for tea.
Insight check.
Yeah.
If we're staying, Reese is gonna return to his plan of going to see the horses.
Metamane will ask Ismark if he has the map and like take a look at it, just to sort of judge between where they are now and where the windmill is. It's a long walk, is it?
Yeah, it's from where you are currently. It would be like another 6 hours. It would be like the middle of the night before you could get there.
So we'd be traveling in a fair amount of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
My insight check was a 17.
He's drunk.
But does he mean us harm?
No, none of them do. They all kind of seem pretty pretty chill. And another one kind of walks up beside, like, there's a few that are, like, playing instruments off in, like, random corners. It for all intents of purposes, and it just looks like a camp of, like, travelers, like maybe like circus performer or some kind of performers. They just look like, bunch of, like, chill people. If you want to give me a perception check to see if you guys could recognize if any of them are, like, the one you met in the bar, or not the
You
bar,
said perception, yeah?
the one that gave you the letter that brought you here.
13.
I'll take perception.
14.
Sorry, are we all
Yeah,
rolling on
if you want to.
23.
for perception or something?
Mm-hmm.
16.
Looking about to see if you recognize the Vistani that gave you the letter that brought you here.
Oh, right.
Did my 23 notice anything?
Yeah, you're 23. Like, you all kind of look about. Some of you are looking a little more carefully than others, but you don't see any. You don't see the Vistani man that gave you the letter, and you don't. With that 23, you, like, look over the horses, and you don't recognize any of the horses either. Now that I can't remember if Devin got a look at his horse, but we'll say it was described to her.
We went looking for him, so maybe.
Yeah, it was like a dappled gray, and, like, these are all, like, chestnuts and black bays.
Bran is going to say to this friendly drunk guy, with Red within earshot, going, well, we've all but just... Well, another person that expects us here. So we've just been playing a distract plan all the time. Least we can do is be late to it.
Kind of, like, looks at you and
Where's Ava?
kind of looks to you in confusion for a second, but, like, points at, like, the big tent near the shore, and, like, that's Ava's tent. But I mean, if you like, you can sit and have a bite and some drink. We might have dug into it a bit. We could tell some stories if you like. Get you all
Save me
relaxed if
something.
you want to, talk after. Okay.
I'd rather business first and then whatever. He's kind of like looking at the tents and, like, not meeting the eye of this guy, drunk guy, and just being very businessy at the minute.
Might be wise to have a safe place to bed down for the night.
We're not gonna make it to the windmill within 6 hours, so
You're never gonna make it to the windmill in one day anyway. So that's what I was trying to say earlier.
Better would have pushed for it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sure,
he's kind of
he can still be of hoping.
Yeah.
He's gonna Bran, like,
Blind.
without, like, looking at you, still, like, looking for the Ava's directions or whatever, just kind of, like, pats your chest or something like he did before. Just goes, "We'll get him tomorrow, big guy."
he nods solemnly.
Door.
Might as well meet this Madam Ava. And bed down and get an early start.
I can admit to curiosity.
Is anyone not going into the tent?
Does Reese know about the tent, or is he still over the horses?
I
He gets
don't
away
think
with
it
it.
much matters.
What?
He said I don't think it much matters.
I mean, are you going in or not?
Redwind's going in.
Okay.
Whole discussion. Re-
I think you're breaking up a fair amount, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty breaky.
You're not working.
Can I use this opportunity to go to the bathroom real quick?
Sure, go for it. Is everybody here?
I am.
Didn't leave
Woo! Okay.
everyone else.
Rob, can you actually be heard now?
uh,
That answers that question.
I'm good.
I'm really glad that you used this time to fix your issues.
I mean,
I know he didn't.
he's got a lot of issues, let's face it.
uh, he'll.
I can hear you fine. So what's going on?
Okay.
I've never heard that sentence.
Okay, good. Are you going into the tent or are you going to stay with the horses like a nerd?
Yeah. Let's see if you hear this one.
I think he said yeah, it's going.
Okay.
No, he said horses.
Yeah,
Very
the horses,
loudly
horses.
shouted horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go,
What's
Rob.
he doing to those horses?
I think you did that 3 or 4 times.
Oh, no.
He said it very loudly what his intentions were.
He casts speak with animals and whispers sweet nothings into their ear.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh, all the tension of the last hour just dissipated. Wonderful.
I know, right?
Right. Okay. The rest of you is going into the tent, though. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No one wants to see what
Oh,
Reese's
yes.
doing with those horses.
Um, as you all enter the tent, magic flames cast a reddish glow over the interior of this tent, revealing a low table covered in black velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. As the crone speaks, her voice crackles like dry reeds. At last, you have arrived. Cackling laughter bursts like mad lightning from her withered lips. I am Madame Ava. It is good to see you all.
Pleasure, Madam Ava. Did we do something funny?
Oh, no, no. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a very old woman and I find random things amusing. Like your winged friend who decided to stay with the horses.
He seems to prefer quiet company.
I suppose that's common enough. Barovia tends to bring that out in people. Though some of you have always been a bit more introverted. How are the golden fields there, Mr. Kane? She says, looking up at Minar.
Yeah, Maynard's eyes kind of drifts about along his companions, looking at Redwin and then looking at everyone else to see what they're looking at.
I mean, Redwind's not looking at you.
I mean, he's
That's-
probably
that's my
looking
boy.
around for who's Mr. Kane. Like, Bran is definitely going to be looking around who she's addressing.
Nervous cough coming from Maynard's direction.
Why don't we keep the conversation on the here and now for as long as possible? Seems like you either prognosticated or otherwise desired our presence. May I ask why and for what purpose?
Oh, those are several questions. She says, kind of shuffling like the cards in her hands. But I have a feeling you might suspect already how I might have come to these conclusions, she says, and kind of flips one card over in like her gnarled fingers, and it's the magician. A stately looking fellow with a looks similar to you in your demeanor.
You must be quite skilled at your craft.
I believe you are a student of a similar school, yes? But the Vistana, like myself, are different, you see, as we are true seers. Along with piercing the veils, the mists of Barovia, we can also pierce the veils of the future.
Is this a gift inborn or one learned?
Oh, not all of Vistani have such gifts, but every camp, every healthy camp, has one brought over, like myself.
I hear the Vistani can pass through the mist as well as see through. Is that true?
She nods slowly.
Is that your talent or one granted to you by your master?
She kind of like looks up at you, and it is a gift that we do not take lightly.
You are a human woman with blood flowing through her veins. Family you wish to protect, I assume. Why keep the company of devils?
There are forces at work beyond just Strahd and his dark ones. We do what we must to keep him from being angered with us. It allows us sort of freedoms. If you want to know the story, the others by the fire tell it best. I am here to read your fortunes, Redwin Grey.
Well, I've never turned down a reading before. I'll sit down.
She kind of looks around at the rest of you. Would you?
Is it a private thing?
Oh no, this is for all of you. It is a shame that your sea-bearing friend has decided to stay outside. But Barovia brings out fears. I suppose he doesn't want to be in such a small place with so many people.
I mean, you can tell me whatever you want said to him and I can pass it on.
You're a good friend.
Something tells me Reese don't want to know.
Yes, that's true. Some people fear fate, fear the future,
That they do.
fear
Your
the...
fate is the same fate, no?
Indeed.
Nothing to fear there. Nothing but the inevitable.
How comforting.
Is what it is, my dear.
Then why are you so keen on us not playing into Strahd's hand if it's all inevitable? Why so keen to change
Only one
what you
fate.
deem deterministic?
Only one fate is truly inevitable. One we all share. Trick is seeing the game, knowing what it is, making the right moves.
What's the point if we're all going to end up in the same place anyway?
The fate we share is the one that we make together. The one we make our own fate.
No fate but what you make. That sounds like it would be good carved onto a picnic table.
Rebel laughs. Oh, please. Tell me what your cards say.
Right, and Madame Ava sits forward, shuffling her cards, bony fingers working quickly, kind of belying her age. They're still very dexterous and firm, or not firm, but you know what I mean. She's able to handle her cards easily, and see, I know why you've been brought to this place, but I have a feeling that you all could escape what fate might fall before you. At least, that is my hope. It is a hope I have had many times, for you are not the first. I'm sure you've heard this before. But every time I try to help, there are things that you must do, power you must obtain if you are to help this land and defeat Strahd, free him from his curse.
And I suppose you mean the way to do that is to kill him.
No, there are many ways to help someone like Strahd. Death is not always the end. It wasn't for him the first time.
Death is
then-
the past of next life.
So then to
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Meadowman.
I was gonna say, that's why I pray for all those who die, to make sure that the Great Mother and whoever gods that they believe in lead them into the next life, and it's a better life for them.
Can a soul in pain do such a thing?
Sorry, what was that?
Can a soul in pain move on?
I hope so.
Well,
And hope so we have.
this land would seem to be evidence that it cannot. So it seems that Madam Ava here is suggesting that if we wish to end Strahd forever, we must end this pain. Am I wrong, Madam Ava?
Like you would a ghost. You cannot just kill a ghost with weapons and expect them to disperse peacefully into the afterlife. You must find what anchors them to this place and release them. Otherwise, they just return. Like the house of death you traveled through. It has been escaped many times. A few times it's been burned to the ground. Nothing left but ashes. But in days, weeks, the woods reform, and the death and spirits of the cursed cultists within bring it back. You, however, defeated the thing they were worshipping. Now it will stay dormant. It will not eat another soul.
We're already helping. Merriman has like a slight smile on his face.
But yes, these gods will help you.
Then read on.
This first card will tell of history, knowledge of the ancient that will help you better understand your enemy. And she flips over the first card. It's the illusionist, ghastly looking image of person holding up a mirror, and their reflection is completely different. It means of lies and deceit, grand conspiracies, secret societies, the presence of a duplicitous person or saboteur. A man here is not what he seems. He comes to Barovia in a carnival wagon, and therein lies what you seek. The knowledge you will need to defeat Strahd.
You mean a man in your cap, or a man in this tent?
We are not carnival goers. There's a man somewhere in Barovia that fits this card. A man who is lying about his appearance, whether for good or ill. He is not what he seems. Another adventurer like you, perhaps. But he has been here for a long time and has learned much.
Can I get an insight check on her just to see if there's any chance she's giving us information that is going to lead us astray?
Oh, sure, go ahead. You
24.
can certainly try. Madam Ava is kind of hard to read. It's kind of one of those things where the flickering low candlelight in this place kind of makes her expression inscrutable, no matter how hard you try.
So 24, I still can't read her?
Nope.
Okay.
DC was higher than a 24.
Okay.
There was once a powerful artifact that was in possession of a great holy man. One of the first religions in this valley. Not the Morning Lord, not Mother Night. The Ravenkind, powerful holy relic, will surely help you defeat Strahd and his undead minions. And she flips over the next card.
I'm assuming that doesn't ring any bells
No.
for Meadowman. No,
No.
cool.
And it's the druid. 5 of glyphs. It's the ambivalence and cruelty of nature and those who feel drawn to it. There's inner turmoil here. An ancient evil tree grows atop a hill of graves where ancient dead sleep. The ravens can help you find it, and you look for the treasure there.
I can assume you're writing these down, right, Dan?
I mean, I'm trying.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a lot of details coming very
yeah.
quickly.
Uh,
What was the card called? The
uh,
second one,
the druid.
the druid. Okay, because I didn't get that.
Yeah,
This,
she's got the cards pulled up on her screen.
yeah. Well, he can't see
Can't
that.
see the screen
Yeah.
and take the notes.
I am keeping this particular scene on my OBS is gonna stay up. Like I'm not deleting this one, so if you guys ever want to refer to it, it'll be here. And she points at this druid card, and it says, "This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope." And then, finally, there is a weapon, a card of power and strength, a weapon of vengeance, sword of sunlight. And she pulls over the next card, and it's of a hooded man, kind of looks like an executioner holding like a massive blade. And the meaning of this card is bigotry, intolerance, and xenophobia, a mysterious presence or newcomer. I see a faceless god. He waits you at the end of a long and winding road, deep in the mountains. Now this next card, there are many people like you in Barovia, ones who are not shattered and hollow by the horrors that are wrought here. Someone that will aid you in your quest. This card will shine light on the one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. And she flips over this card, and it's the miss. And you kind of see, like, for the first time, her hand kind of shakes, and she frowns. Something unexpected or mysterious that can't be avoided. A great quest or journey that will try one's spirit. There is a Vistana that wanders this lands alone, searching for her mentor. She does not stay in one place for long, but you could possibly find her at St. Markovia's Abbey, near the Miss, she says, kind of stroking the cards. The Miss, not of the ones that you passed through, but there were Miss here in Barovia before the curse.
The Abbey, that's the one that we heard about from Donovich, correct?
Different one,
Oh, sorry.
but good
Was it?
remembered.
Oh, okay.
There's a church in Krensk that he says is still consecrated, but he didn't give you a name of it. But so that's DM telling you it's not in Villaki.
Oh, yeah. But maybe that's maybe a thing that Meta might not think of.
Finally, this card. Your enemy is a creature of darkness whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him. And she flips over the last, and it's the Tempter. One who has been compromised or led astray by temptation or foolishness. One who tempts others for evil ends. A fitting description of Strahd, I think. But I see a secret place, a vault of temptation hidden behind a woman of great beauty. Evil awaits atop his tower of treasure. she kind of sits back and smiles at you all.
Your cards see much. Thank you for your wisdom.
You are most welcome to stay with the Vistani tonight. I know that you are fearful, but no one will harm you or Ismark and his sister.
And will you report us to Strahd?
Only if he asks me in particular. The others are quite fooled by your rubber noses and dark clothes.
Are they in the room with us,
No.
Irina? Okay. Who is the sister? Why does Strahd want her?
That is something that is best found out on your own.
Really? Why is that?
There is something about the people here in Barovia that you must discover.
All right.
Something to do with those blank dice of yours.
Right. Do you know about that?
This is fucking dope.
I know many things.
Who or what is it that reached out to me that day?
The Fates, of course. You are a diviner yourself, are you not, Redwin?
You know that I am.
Then it
Spent-
is not uncommon for things to go exactly the way you are meant to see them. Just because it had never happened before doesn't mean it can't.
Right.
I wonder, madam, if you may know to say, these 5 here are heroes. Well, these 3 here are heroes. Why was I chosen?
Well,
I wonder if you know.
Redwin's just scratching his middle finger on the side of his head.
just because you cannot see the true worth of someone right away doesn't make them any more or less worthy than the circumstances that they find themselves in. Meadowmane, perhaps you shouldn't be so quick to judge.
Damn or me.
Both, my child.
The one who spoke to me. I felt it was Shanti, the Great Mother. I don't know if you'll know this, but you seem to know an awful lot. Do you know if it was her who spoke to me that day or something else there, eh?
Remember what I said about ghosts being anchored. You helped untether them. Whatever it was, it helped you do good. I cannot speak for gods. I can speak of the fates, she says, waving a hand over her cards.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, madam.
So, did you send the one after us then? I sent the original letter?
The one that brought you here?
Yeah, the one that brought the letter?
No. There are 2 camps of Vistani. There are Vistani all over, but there are 2 camps. The other one is troublesome. They do
And,
not have a bot nova like myself leading them. as they should.
So the one that brought us here came from that camp?
She nods.
That's the one that brought the lad from Strahd, eh?
That is exactly what Devon was implying.
Mhm.
But perhaps we wouldn't have heard it had you not dropped a vowel at the end of the sentence. She says, kind of teasing Meadowmane for repeating exactly what they said. Vistani are meant to be led by a seer and a caravan master. One male, one female, to keep things in balance. They are not balanced.
And yet they do Strahd's bidding?
I think that is why.
Makes sense to me.
I mean, she just admitted she'd sell us out if she gets asked about it.
I think Madame Ava here, along with the rest of her people, do what they must to survive.
So admirable.
Don't we all?
That is a bit of hypocrisy coming from you, Devon, is it not? She says, leveling a gaze at you. Wouldn't you do anything to survive? Run faster than someone else, perhaps?
They're a sanctimonious lot.
I'll give him that.
Oh,
Bruh.
fuck you. I didn't see you saving the kid.
I
And
did
he
see.
kicks-
What are you talking about?
Yeah, and you just leave him with the guy who sold him, who would sell him tomorrow.
Hey,
You did a fucking half job. You know that. I know in your little judgmental head, you know that.
I think you've got your broad, handsome head squarely up your ass, friend.
I saw you sighing.
I think your violence and your thoughtlessness create more trouble than good they do.
Right.
And during all of this,
And I think my violence and thoughtlessness got you fucking over the threshold. Whether you still be in that house, along with Meadowmane and most of the rest of you.
And I said my thanks.
and during this squabbling, Madame Ava is still like staring Devon down.
You know,
Calling her a hypocrite.
Fucking checks.
Brannick's got a point. Sometimes we need to do less thinking and more acting.
I've never stood in the way of your acting.
I mean, that situation could have gone a lot different if we'd attacked the child kidnapper in the first place. Didn't
Perhaps
shut her
what
up.
you shouldn't do is argue in front of them. And give them time to make their escapes, as you're too busy squabbling over each other.
Right, Ava. Next time I'll just go straight to the whipping. And he's just going to walk out.
Right. I think that is a good place to end it. And that is where we will call a session.
So much